So if you want to do any sort of shaking out beforehand, you can do so. And then when you're ready, you can come to a comfortable seat. So you can be seated cross-legged or on the ankles, just however you can find some comfort with the spine straight. And whenever you arrive, no rush at all. You can just allow your eyes to gently close. And take a nice cleansing breath to start off. Taking a big inhale through the nose and releasing it all through the mouth. You can allow the shoulders to relax and fall. Each inhale, feeling the crown of your head lift slightly higher. And each exhale, feeling the sit bones ground down a bit deeper. Inhaling, feeling the energy travel from your tailbone through the spine, the spinal cord, up through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, feeling that energy settle back from the crown of the head, down the spine, into the tailbone. Just noticing the quality of your mind this morning. Noticing if it's a bit easier than usual to sit here and listen to your breath. Maybe it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe you find the mind wandering quite a bit. Not having any judgments or opinions over the state of your mind. Just allowing it to be exactly how it is. Relaxing the forehead, the jaw, feeling the shoulders drop even deeper. Sending your breath deep into the belly. Feeling it expand the belly, the heart, your collarbones, the head. And then feeling the breath fall from the head, the heart, lungs, and belly. And just watching your own breath fill up your own body. And you can envision positive, uplifting thoughts and energy entering your body as you inhale, really feeling yourself fill up with that. And as you exhale, feel all that positive energy settling within as anything that no longer serves you exits the body. Take about 5 more deep breaths like that, really feeling yourself fill up with positive energy on your inhales, and feeling yourself let go of anything heavier on your exhales. And taking one more full round of breath. And now on your next inhale, start to slowly start rotating your torso clockwise. And you can let this movement start off pretty small, and then we'll gradually grow our circles to get bigger. So you can feel your heart coming forward on your inhales and coming back and around on your exhales. Or if it works, or if it makes more sense for you to do it the other way around, then you can do that. But the bigger your circles get, be sure to keep both of your sit bones on the ground so that you really feel this movement coming from the spine and not as much in the sit bones. And you can go ahead and switch directions if you haven't already. You can think about bringing the heart forward as you inhale and curling the heart back as you exhale, maybe adding more movement in the shoulders. Do a few more circles just to even out. And then gently making the circles a little bit smaller and coming back to center really gradually. And eventually just finding some stillness in the center. You can switch the crossing of your legs. And then we'll start to open up the heart a little bit more. So as you inhale, draw your shoulder blades and elbows together. Maybe the arms are open, the backs of the hands come closer together. And as you exhale, curl the heart back and bring the palms to each other. Maybe really pull the fists forward. So the fists are coming forward, heart's coming back. Perfect. And then inhaling, opening up. You can feel the heart pulling forward and up. And exhale, curl it back. So you can move with your breath at your own pace with this a few more times. Always permission to close the eyes. If you really just want to maybe envision you have some big wings. You're opening the wings and closing them. Let's go 2 more times. Awesome. Then you can come back up to center. You can let your hands be where they're comfortable. And just pause for a moment. Notice how all that felt in your spine, your chest, and your heart. And then we'll start to take some neck rolls. So you can move the neck going in one direction about 5 or 6 times. And then switching directions whenever you're ready. And again, staying in tune with the breath, letting the breath guide the movement here. You can notice if there's any spots that feel like they want some more attention, or if there's any other sort of neck movements that feel better for you right now, just listening to that. Just letting this be your time to tune into the neck and to do the movements that the neck is asking for. And you're starting to feel a bit looser here. You can gently guide your neck back to center, and letting the eyes close and letting the blood settle. And then as you inhale, sweep both arms out and up, feeling the side bodies get long. And exhale, drop your right arm down, bend over to the right, feeling the left side of your body getting nice and long from the right hip through the side body all the way through the fingertips. Maybe the heart feels open toward the ceiling a little more. Maybe that feels good. Beautiful. And then from here, just allow your neck to fully relax so that the right ear kind of rests on the right shoulder. And then bring your left arm to shoulder distance and reach the shoulder height and reach those fingertips away. So you get this really nice stretch from your fingertips through the neck and the ear. Awesome. And then use the weight of your left arm to gently guide your torso back to center, maybe using your right hand to push your head back up. Awesome. You notice the difference in the sides of the body. And then we'll inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, left arm down. Bend on over to the left side of the mat, feeling this nice stretch down the right side of the body. You can notice if this side feels quite different, it's about the same. Maybe the heart comes toward the ceiling a bit more. Awesome. And now we'll fully relax the head here, so feeling the left ear fall toward the shoulder, and then bring the right arm, reaching it away from you, shoulder height, perfect. This might feel really intense, so just breathing into that. Each exhale, letting yourself release and stretch a little bit further. And then using the weight of your right hand to bring your torso back up, maybe pushing your head back up as well. Letting that settle. Just notice how the neck and the arms feel. And then when you're ready, you can bring the hands to the shoulders and take big circles with your elbows. drawing the circles, seeing the shapes you're drawing. Feeling those creaks. And then switching directions. And that's always moving as fast or as slow as your body wants to move. Awesome. So when you're feeling good here, you can release the hands, maybe shake them out, maybe shake everything out. And then we will meet in our tabletop position. So you can roll over the ankles, come onto hands and knees. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, fingers spread really wide. And just feeling yourself, the spine really straight to start. So rooting down in the tops of the feet and the shins, feeling how that activates the core, and feeling the gaze right slightly above the fingertips so that you feel the back of the neck really long. Wrist creases parallel to the front edge of the mat. Inhale to drop your belly, lift your gaze and tailbone to your cow pose. And exhale to curl the part back, pull the navel to the spine, tuck the chin and tailbone, cat pose. Just move with your breath through these cat-cows. Noticing where it feels the most concentrated in your body. So it might be in your upper back, shoulders, and chest. You might be feeling this more in the lower back, maybe in the hips even. And then however you're moving, let the energy be concentrated to where it feels the tightest. So for instance, if you're feeling this tightest in the shoulders and upper back, then really let the movement come from your heart. So your heart comes down and forward on your cows, and your heart curls back and up on your cats. And then if this is mostly concentrated in the hips, then really feel your tailbone lifting up on your cows, and then feel your tailbone tucking down on your cats. So just playing around with where the movement originates from, and you can feel free now to add in anything else, maybe wagging the tail, getting into the side bodies, maybe just taking big circles with the shoulders and hips. Let this be your freestyle, just closing the eyes and letting your body move how it would like to. And staying in tune with the breath as you do so. So whenever you're ready, no rush at all, you can find your way back to your neutral tabletop. And this time we'll tuck the toes under so that you just have the heels off the ground, toes tucked under in your regular tabletop. And then inhale to your cow pose, so you drop the belly, lift the gaze. And then exhale, lift the sit bones back and up to your down dog. And then as you inhale, we'll slowly bend the knees and let them come to the mat, coming into your cow pose. And as you exhale, you'll lift the sit bones back and up to your down dog. So just do that about 3 more times at your own pace with your own breath. It can be a little bit more challenging to move slowly like this. So if you want a little bit more of a challenge, basically in any yoga pose, you can just move a bit slower. And then after your last one, we can just meet in our down dogs. We'll spend some time here. You can pedal out the feet, check in with your alignment. The hands should be basically the same as in tabletop. Fingers still spread really wide, wrist creases still parallel to the front edge of your mat. And you're rooting down in the base of your thumb, or the knuckle of your thumb, pointer and pinky, as well as the heel of the hands and the tips of the fingers, so you really are gripping the floor. And then all the energy is concentrated to your sit bones, lifting them as high as you possibly can, feeling how that lengthens the spine. And feel broadness come across your shoulder blades. Awesome. And you can imagine someone is pulling your hips back and up. And Perfect, and that gets even more length. And maybe even feeling like there's a slight arch in your lower back. That'll give you more length there as well. So good. Okay. Now as you inhale, you can rise up to your tippy toes and wave your body forward, coming into a plank position. And then exhale, lift your sit bones back and up, down dog. So you can do that a few times, waving forward to plank as you inhale, and then coming back to your down dog as you exhale. Do that about 4 times. And again, if you want this to be more challenging, you can move slower. And really just seeing if you can even see your joints moving and your bones moving, even with your eyes closed, just tuning into the shape that you're making. So good. And then we'll come back into our plank position. And you can always bring the knees down here if you'd like a modified chaturanga. And then slowly feeling the resistance from the floor, you can bend your elbows, bring them alongside the ribs, and bring yourself down to lay on your belly. And your hands are underneath the shoulders. Root down in the big toes and feeling the legs slightly lift and the legs are zipped up close together. Inhale, pull your heart forward and up, so coming up to our baby cobra. The gaze is slightly in front of your mat, so that your neck is just an extension of the spine. Really feel broadness across the collarbones. Awesome. And exhale, release here. Now this time, leaving the hands in line with the shoulders, just slide them forward so that the elbows come underneath the shoulders. We'll come into our Sphinx pose. And it might feel better if they're slightly, like ever so slightly in front of where the shoulders are. But then really root down in the hands and forearms and feel as if you could pull the floor toward your toes. Feel as if the heart is pulling forward and up, broadness across the collarbones. Legs are really, really active here. So draw your legs together and push the tops of the feet into the mat. And push your pubic bone into the mat. And see if you can relax the glutes at the same time. Awesome. One more breath here. And exhale, release your head down to the mat. Let's take a moment, reset the spine, maybe wiggle out the hips. And then we'll come into our Sphinx one more time. So when you're ready, you can slide the elbows underneath or slightly in front of the shoulders and tuning back into everything that should be active. This is a very active pose, so really letting the hands, forearms be active, the legs. And then inhale in the center, and exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale back to center, and exhale, look over the left shoulder. And do that a few more times on your own, at your own pace, with your own breath. Just noticing how this feels, noticing what shifts about the pose. And still remembering to keep everything active. Everything about the pose is the same, just the neck is moving. And then when you feel even and ready, you can come back to center, release the head toward the hands, bend the knees toward the bum, and windshield viper, the legs back and forth. Awesome. And then bringing the legs back to center, you can reach them long on your mat. And bring the hands right underneath the shoulders and your elbows point up toward the ceiling. And then see if you can really activate the core as if you were in a plank. You tuck the toes under and try to push yourself right back up to plank. I'm not going to do it right now, but if you can do that, that's great. And then you can come up to through tabletop. If not, tuck your toes, lift your hips, down dog. Awesome job. Okay. Letting out big exhales. 2 more. And then really slowly start to walk one foot toward the top of your mat, one at a time. Just Breathing into the hamstrings as you do so. Meeting in our forward fold at the top of your mat. Whenever you get there. Letting the knees bend as much as they need so that the belly rests on the thighs. And even when the knees are bent, just letting the sit bones lift a little bit higher so that you still feel length through the backs of the legs. Awesome. And then shifting the weight slightly more toward the balls of the feet, toward the front of your feet. Perfect. So you're really going forward first and then folding to our forward folds. You can let the head dangle yes and no. Take 2 more exhales here. And then very slowly, as you're ready, you can rise yourself up to stand. You can do this by walking the hands up the legs or rolling the body up. And it's coming up to our standing position, rolling the shoulders back, bringing the palms to face out, in our mountain pose. Letting the blood settle up here once you arrive. And really feeling that the head is over your heart, which is over the hips, over your heels. Beautiful. Keeping a micro bend in the legs just so that they're not hyperextending. Feeling the collarbones really proud. Feeling length in the lower back. Perfect. Now inhale, reach both arms out and up. And exhale, hinge at your hips and lead with your heart. So see how long you can keep a straight back. And then once you can't keep that anymore, allow your spine to fold. Come into your forward fold. Perfect. Inhale, halfway lift. So coming back to that really straight spine, wherever that is. Beautiful. Exhale and release, forward fold. Inhale, rise yourself back up to stand, reaching out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, dive forward, keeping that flat back for as long as you can, and then forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Another time like that. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, dive forward, leading with the heart, forward fold. Perfect. Inhale, halfway lift. This time let's hold this for a few breaths. So in your half lift, you can bring your hands to your hips. If you want more of a challenge, you can bring your hands behind the head and keep the elbows really proud up to the sides. Really work the core, or you can always rest the hands gently on the thighs. Just really feeling this hinging at the hips. Feel the sit bones reaching back as the collarbones and the crown of your head reach forward. Perfect. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, swan dive all the way back down. Let it go. Take one more full exhale here, just letting it all go, maybe sighing it out. And then heel toe your feet to be mats with distance. So you're in a wider stance of our forward fold. Notice how this changes the stretch slightly, but keeping all the components of our forward fold in the pose. So the hips are still reaching high. The knees can still be bent, and you're still just having that length in the backs of the legs. So still feeling sit bones reach high. Weight is still toward the balls of the feet. Head and torso still relaxed. Feeling this more on the insides of the upper thighs, most likely. Then you can plant your hands down in between the feet and just step your left foot back into a wide lunge. So your back heel stays lifted and both your hands are on the inside of your right foot. And you might want to have blocks here or come onto tented fingertips, whatever works for you. And then as you inhale, you'll feel the heart come forward and feel the hips sink down. And then as you exhale, straighten out your front leg and lift your hips and allow your head to bow. And then we'll inhale, come forward, rebending that front leg, and exhale to lift the hips, folding over the front leg. Awesome. So do this a few times with your own breath. Inhaling into your wide lunge, exhaling to fold over the straight right leg, or on the inside of the straight right leg. And if it makes more sense for your brain to do it the other way, like you inhale to fold and you exhale to come forward, then you can play with that as well. It just kind of makes more sense for me to do it the other way, but if your brain works differently, then awesome. Cool. So let's do one more round and we'll meet back in our wide lunge when you're done. Awesome. And now actually let's come back into the straight leg. So lift the sit bones again. And this time we'll walk the hands toward your left and naturally pivot on your front foot to come into our wide leg forward fold. Awesome. Just noticing how this feels, you can check in with your alignment of the feet. Just so you can even grab the toes and just feel that they're kind of even with each other. And then you can inhale to your halfway lift, long spine. Exhale to fold. And do that twice more. So inhale to reset the spine. Feel the spine get really long. And then exhale to surrender the spine, getting it even longer. So when we do this, we're actively lengthening the spine when we come into half lift. And then we're releasing and lengthening the spine as you fold. And then meeting in a fold for 2 more breaths, keeping the sit bones lifting higher, keeping the weight toward the balls of the feet. Looks great. And then gently start to walk your hands toward your back foot, toward your left foot, toward the back of the mat, and naturally pivot to come into your wide lunge, facing the back of your mat on the other side. Awesome job. So we're going to do the same thing over here. So when you're ready, you can inhale into your lunge, lifting the heart, and exhaling to lift the sit bones, folding in the inside of your left leg. And just notice how this feels on this side. Move at the pace your body wants to move. Really pay attention if you're getting any sorts of specific places in the body that feel really tight or they want some more love and attention. And the slower we move, the more we can feel. So do this until you feel even, probably a few more times. And then once you do feel even, you can come back and we'll meet with the legs straight, folding on the inside of your left leg. And then as you're ready, you can step your right foot up to meet your left foot, so you're in a wide forward fold toward the back of your mat. Perfect. Release here, let out some big exhales, shake the head yes and no, maybe shake off the hands and arms. And then bring 2 fists to the ground and bring your feet to frame the 2 fists so that your feet are hip width distance. And we're going to do basically the same thing, but in a regular lunge to make our way back to full circle in front of the mat. So when you're ready, you can inhale, step your left foot back. So now your hands are framing your right foot. So you're in just your regular high lunge. Inhale as you feel the heart pull forward and up. And exhale as you lift the sit bones back and up and fold right over your right hamstring. So you can move with your breath like this again. And your back heel should stay lifted the whole time also. So you're really keeping your back foot active. And notice where your movement's originating from, just like we did before. So is your movement coming mostly from the hips? Are you mostly sinking the hips down and then bringing the hips back up? Or are you mostly moving from your heart center, pulling the heart forward, and then lifting the heart back? And just play around with maybe where else you can let this movement originate from. Just challenging your body to use maybe some muscles that it's not as used to using. So let's meet folded over the right hamstring. Next time you're up here. And then we'll slowly start to walk your hands to the left. So we'll come back into our wide leg forward fold. Releasing here, noticing if it feels a bit different the second time around. And then this time, let's feel free to add some movement. So if you want to kind of make this a little bit more flowy and dancey, you can grab opposite elbows and really dangle the head and torso, and just take turns bending each leg. And you can let your arms move in like a figure 8 motion as you do that. It can feel really nice. Another option that you can do is coming into more of a half lift here and placing your right hand right in front of the face and then lifting your left arm up. So coming into a twist. And then notice how your left hip wants to pop open and then push that back down so that your hips stay square to the mat. Perfect. You can even place your hand on your sacrum to encourage that. So this twist is really coming from the upper back. And then you can switch sides, so you can exhale the left arm down, inhale right arm up. And same thing here, just checking in with the hips. And then you can do that twice more if you'd like. This feels good. And really feeling this twist coming from your upper body, coming from the heart. Encouraging the lower body to stay still. Looks awesome. Okay, so once you feel even on both sides with that, you can meet back in the center, just fold in your wide leg forward fold, one more breath. And then walk your hands back to the front of your mat and bring them to frame your left foot. Lift your right heel. Then we'll come into our high lunge on the other side. So you can do that same movement we've been doing, inhaling the heart forward, hips down, exhaling, hips up, heart down. And letting this be more of a dance. So you can notice if there's any muscles that are tense that aren't necessary, particularly in the face, the shoulders, the neck maybe. So just consciously relaxing forehead, jaw, shoulders, even the tongue. And each time that your breath moves, so does your body. And each time you inhale, that is your cue to start the movement. And each time you exhale, that is your cue to do the other movement. So let's do one more. So good. And then we'll meet back. You can step your right foot forward into your forward fold on the front of the mat. Let the head and torso really fall and relax. And feel the hamstrings. Probably feel a bit looser or a bit more awakened at least. And then slowly you can rise yourself up to stand. Just really slowly. Letting the head come up last, shoulders back, palms out. Maybe you get a little head rush, so just letting all the blood settle in once you get here. Inhales, lift the crown of your head higher, and exhales, root the feet feet down deeper. So good. On your next inhale, raise both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And plant your hands and move through your vinyasa, however you'd like. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog when you're ready. It's always an option to skip the flows as well. The flows just add a little bit more fire to your practice, so just trust wherever you are today. And then no rush at all, but whenever you are ready, you can step your left foot forward to the top of your mat, then pivot your back foot to warrior two legs, and we'll rise on up to warrior two. So just really check in with the alignment. Your back foot's parallel to the back edge of the mat, arms reaching from the heart center. The gaze is over the front fingertips so the eyes are closed. And then your front knee is reaching toward the pinky side of your front foot. So you're really feeling your left hip kind of roll under and feeling the hips square to the side of your mat. And maybe lifting the toes here to really encourage the four corners of your feet to be active into the mat, and then letting the toes grip back down. Beautiful. Tailbone is reaching straight down, lengthen the low back, crown of the head's reaching straight up. Awesome. So we'll add some movement into this pose as well. So as you inhale, bring your arms up, and then bring your feet parallel to each other, and legs straight. And then exhale, come into your warrior two facing the back of your mat. Taking a moment here, this is the first time we're here. So your left leg or left foot is now parallel to the front edge of your mat, and your right knee is reaching toward the pinky side of the foot. That hip is really tucking under. Checking in with everything you did on the other side. Lifting the toes, feeling this powerful pose. And then when you're ready, we can inhale, arms up, feet parallel, and exhale, warrior two, other side. So now just move with your breath like this, one breath per movement. So as you inhale, bringing the arms up, legs straight, feet parallel. And as you exhale, settling back, warrior two, facing the back of the mat. And just move like this. You can make it be a little dance. Move as slow or as quick as you like. Maybe even closing the eyes, and really you can imagine water moving around your fingertips, just feeling that resistance from the air. Good. When you're ready, we'll meet back in our warrior two facing the front of your mat. Rise your back heel up, lift the arms, and step forward into your mountain pose. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, dive forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, rise up to stand, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll do a balancing pose on either side, or two balancing poses on either side before we start to cool down. So when you're ready, we'll start with our tree pose. So we'll start in mountain pose, and then just shift your weight toward the left side of you. Bring your right foot into a kickstand, and maybe you just stay here. Maybe you find your focal point. You can bring your hands to where they're comfortable, the hips, the heart, wherever you can find the most balance. And really feel the broadness of your hips. Feel them opening up. Feel the knee reaching back behind you. And then if you feel totally steady and comfortable here, you can bring the sole of your foot up to the calf and really push your foot into the calf as you push the calf back into the foot. And feel the knee continue to reach back. And then, as always, if you're good here, you can bring it up to the inner thigh. But wherever you are, just really finding the center line of your body. Pushing the foot and leg into each other equally. Drawing the energy up through the sole of your standing foot, coming up through the spinal cord, through the crown of the head. The arms can be expressed however you want to. And now to add in our other balancing pose, you can really challenge yourself and see if you want to stay or come into a break from tree pose. So if you need a break, completely understand. But when you're ready, you can just bend your right foot so that you kick the heel toward your bum and your knees are in line with each other. So it's kind of like this flamingo pose. And then reach back so your palm faces away from you and you reach toward the inside of your right foot. Perfect. So then keep your hips and your core stable here. And then you really slowly, you can start to kick your foot into your hand. And as you do that, you pull the hand into your foot. And this is coming into our dancer pose. So a lot of people will do this pose like with the hip out like that. And you really don't want to do that. You want to keep the hips square to the front and to the floor. So you're really slow. And the goal is to go up before you go forward. So you first want to kick the foot into the hand and use this as kind of like a bow. And then reach up with your left arm. Perfect. And then eventually you can start to come really forward as long as your hips can still be square to the front. And you can come into that fuller expression where you're more reaching forward. But I just want to introduce this pose to you guys because I really haven't taught it yet. It's a fun one. So just a few more moments practicing on this side. And then when you're ready, you can release, you can shake them out. And then we will start with tree on the other side. Whew. It's hot, okay. So you're gonna put the weight into your right side of your body and come into that kickstand with the left foot. Or the other side, whichever side you did last time. Or didn't do last time. And then gradually bringing that to either the calf or the inner thigh. You just always want to avoid the knee area. If you ever see anyone in a tree pose with their foot on their knee, save a life and tell them to stop. It's not good for your knees. So just finding that focal point, staying with your breath as you do this. It's really common to forget about the breath here. But let that be your friend. The body will move where the eyes go. So if the eyes are moving around a lot, odds are you're going to be wobbling quite a bit. A few more breaths. And then when you're ready, we can come into our dancer pose on the other side. You can always take a break if you want to just reset. And then we have that flamingo-like posture, bringing your left palm to face away from you, grabbing the inside of the foot. And I really like to grab my foot like this. It just makes sense to me, where you put your thumb, wrap your thumb around your big toe, like that. I don't know if you can see it, but that feels like as sturdy as a grip to me. So remember to just keep your hips square to the front and let yourself reach up first. So instead of trying to reach big and wide, let yourself reach straight up and try to bring your left foot straight up. So each time you inhale, reach up a little higher, and then each time you exhale, kick your foot into your hand. Inhale, reach, exhale, kick. So good. Oh yeah, you'll get this, okay. So inhale to get long, exhale, kick a bit more. Okay. And then when you're done, you can shake it out, roll out the standing foot, grab a sip of water. And then we will start to do the cool down of the class. So you can start to make your way. If you want to do one more vinyasa flow, you can do that. But we'll meet in our child's pose. So however you feel to get there, you can just go there right now. Start to consciously cool down the body a bit more. You can always stack the fists and rest your head there if you want more height. So good. So, great. Every time you exhale, just consciously allow your body to settle into this pose. Allow the hips to be heavy. Allow the head to be heavy. Relax the shoulders a bit more. Relax the chest. Feel your belly expanding into your thighs. Feel the jaw soften. Feel the forehead soften. And you can start to reach the hands forward if they're not there, activating your child's pose. Pushing into the hands, lifting the arms. And then we'll pull ourselves up into our tabletop position. And we'll come into our pigeon pose. So you can just slide your right knee behind the right wrist, and the right foot comes off to the left side of the mat as you slide back on your left leg. And then, as always, you have the option for reclined pigeon as well if this doesn't feel good for any reason. And you can stay lifted for as long as you'd like, and then come down into the forearms, or onto stacked fists, onto whatever is available. You can always slide something underneath your right hip if it's really lifted off the ground and if it would feel better to be supported. I'm not going to be here for too long, so let's just take 5 really full exhales here. We'll let these be really conscious breaths. So just challenging yourself to release a little bit more on your exhales, even if you think you're fully released. Finding that one more area that's holding on and telling that area it's okay to let go. Very slowly, gently, you can start to come back onto the hands. And we'll just tuck the back toes and scooch that knee back underneath, or your left knee back underneath the hip. And just come back into your tabletop. Maybe you shake that leg out, or shake out the hips, knee side to side. And then when you're ready, we can do that on the other side. So the left knee will slide to the back of the left wrist as the foot comes off to the right. Coming into that pigeon pose whenever you're ready. And just feeling your hips and shoulders stay square to the front of your mat as well. Looks good. And then coming onto the forearms whenever you're ready. You can notice how this feels on this side. Softening your left hip a little bit more. 5 more deep exhales. very slowly, gently, when you're ready, you can start to come onto the hands. And this time we'll just shift the weight into your left hip, bend your back leg, and bring that around in front of you so that you're coming onto your bum, legs out in front, shake out the legs. And we'll slowly begin to make our way down to lay on our backs. So when you're ready, you can grab the backs of the thighs and walk them down. Lower yourself onto your back. And you can do any little things that feel good. Maybe you hug the knees into the chest and rock side to side. Maybe you do windshield wipers. And then do just a few more poses before our final resting pose. So when you're ready, we'll set up for our bridge pose. So you can bring the soles of your feet to the mat, and the heels, you should be able to graze the backs of your heels with your fingertips. And the feet are about hips width distance. Perfect. And then push into, so your palms of your hands on the ground, push into the hands and the arms and the shoulders, and just feel your heart start to lift first. And then as you inhale, lift your hips toward the ceiling. Really, as you're doing this, pushing into the hands and the arms, lifting the heart a little higher. And feel as if there's a block in between your thighs, and you're squeezing the inner thighs toward each other, but not touching. Keeping the legs and the core active. And then if the glutes are really active here, we'll see what happens when you release the glutes. See what other muscles start to activate. Because the glutes are really helpful in this pose, but they're the strongest muscle in our body, so a lot of times if the glutes are active, then the other muscles can just relax. So when we actively release those, then the other muscles can get a chance to show us what we've got. Okay, so you can slowly start to lower down, one vertebra at a time. Take a few windshield wipers, release the lower back. And we'll just do one more round of the bridge pose so that you can really feel that in the body. So when you're ready, you can bring the knees back up and the feet back to their position. And inhale, rise the hips, rise the heart. One more full round of this. So let's take 5 breaths here. Each time you inhale, feel the strength in your body. Feel yourself rounding into the floor with the hands and the feet. And then each exhale, lift the hips a little higher. One more breath. And then slowly, one vertebra at a time, even feeling the spine against the mat. Bring your seat back to the mat. Do whatever you need to reset. Maybe windshield wipers, maybe hug the knees. And then we'll just do some torso twists to finish up this practice. So when you're ready, you can shift your hips to the left and let the knees fall to the right. Maybe looking over the left shoulder. And just letting your belly be really soft here. Releasing all the tension from the belly. And just feeling this wringing out of the spine. Feeling this massaging of the organs. Gently guiding the head and knees to center. Taking that to the other side. Hip shift now to the right. Legs come to the left. Really big exhales, maybe sighing it out, communicating to the body that we are releasing and we are done. Relaxing the face, relaxing both shoulders. Gently guiding the head and knees to center, the hips to center. And then just to feel everything settle in the body, you can bring the legs up to the ceiling, shake them out, arms up, shake them out. And then just allow them to settle, letting the bones settle within their joints. And really just feeling the four corners of your torso, both shoulders and both hips, being flat against the mat. The entire length and width of your spine, of your back, flat against the mat, the lower back as well. All the organs settling into their right places. And just feeling all that blood from the hands and feet coming into the shoulders and the hips, coming into the torso. And feel anything that was built up in the body, any negative toxins or energy, just leaving the body through the palms of your hands and the soles of the feet. Just let it all go. As you're ready, you can come into your happy baby if you'd like. One final pose, maybe finding stillness here, or maybe finding some movement. And then as you're ready, you can slowly lower your feet to the mat, either coming into your reclined bound angle pose with the soles of the feet together and knees out, or right into your final shavasana. Whatever feels right for you in this moment. Letting yourself naturally unfold. Feeling every cell of your body settling toward the back body. Letting the forehead expand and soften. Letting the ears rest toward the mat. Feeling that soften and fold the cheeks closer to the ground. And letting the jaw be heavy. And start to notice the pulse running through your entire body. Letting yourself rest in this total body awareness for another few moments. If you would like to stay here longer, please do so. And if you're ready to come out of this pose, you can just allow my cues to guide you slowly. Starting off by noticing the breath once again, and deepening the breath even more. Wiggling with fingers and toes, maybe coming to a nice morning stretch, getting the body super long. Hugging the knees toward the chest as you feel ready, and coming into a fetal position. just taking a few moments to honor this pose. The first pose all of us took in our lives. And then, as you're ready, gently pushing into the ground with your top hand and making your way up to your seat. With the eyes closed, we'll meet at heart center. With hands at heart center. And just first thanking yourself fully and deeply for your practice today. May this practice continue to heal you throughout your weekend. May you bring some of this love and light to everything that you do and to everyone that you see. Namaste.